Welcome to those near and far. Welcome to Mage the Ascension, as luck would have it. Our game is set in 2019 in Montreal, Canada. Let's meet our mages this evening.
I am Jayce.
Hey, I don't really know what happened with the thing, but it's good now, except I don't have my avatar fudge nuts. Oh well.
I am Jayce Maxwell, and I will be playing Max Toulon.
I'm Katarina Albrecht, and I'll be playing Portia LeVoie when I'm with it. Oops.
And I'm Lloyd Coleman, otherwise known as AnyGeek 5150, and I am Auron Pritchard.
Right. Last session, in session 4, the Cabal called Quasitor Jenna Fields to report possible hookah abuse. Portia took the children to the kitchen and learned what Uncle Reggie did. So currently it is Monday night, November 2nd, 2019. This is session 5. So I will open with the talk that I had promised Lloyd would have with, or Auron would have with Professor Edge. There we go.
All right. I'll walk up to her office. Is the door closed?
It is.
Okay, I will knock.
The door opens. She is sitting in a chair at a desk.
Okay. I slowly step in. Professor Edge. I had a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. And that's part of one of it. I wanted to bring up the puka. Is there any way that they would be able to stay here, at least temporarily? Because Raena made an offer to Sarah to let them live on her farm to protect them.
So why would they be staying here if they're staying at Raena's?
Well, we need a little bit so we could set up to get them transported there.
Ah, I see. I don't see that being a problem. They are puka, so be wary of gifts. And they are also children. So try to be, family friendly.
Yes.
Try to curb, sailor talk and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it being a problem.
Okay, when I see Raena, I will let her know.
Mm-hmm.
The second part that I wanted to talk to you about, and it does a little bit involve the girls. I was wondering if it was possible for me to move into the chantry.
That would be preferable.
Okay.
We can definitely arrange your quarters to be your permanent residence.
Okay. Yeah, because I got to thinking after what just happened, he now knows my face. he now knows some things about me, he may try to go where I live. And because
you don't
I'm
want
not...
to be found.
It's not that I don't want to be found. It's... I don't want him causing disaster against me. I've already been through enough in my life.
Well, we'll protect you as best we can.
Okay. Now, how would we go about... Like, because I would have to move my stuff here and everything. Would we be using a portal to do it, or would we have, like, a certain way of moving my things?
Well, there are a couple of ways to go about this. You can leave behind your house and just stay here. Or you can... we are setting up portals in your closets.
Okay.
So, it should go to your previous abode. Probably in the bathroom, probably. And so if you can fit it in the bathroom and you can fit it through the doorway, then should be...
Yeah, I was probably going to leave my furniture behind and let the landlady know that she could keep the furniture. I mainly just going to bring my girls and their stuff and, like, whatever equipment I have and my books. That's all I'm really concerned about.
Okay. If you need help, I'm sure the Cabal would be willing to help you.
Okay. Thank you. And
try to keep your cats in your room.
Oh, I plan to, because last I remember, Portia's not exactly a fan of cats.
Oh, I see. Especially if we're gonna have rabbits, like...
Yeah.
In the meantime.
My cats are very well, I would say trained, but it's the wrong word for it. Like, I could keep them from going after them.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I think during one of our study meetings, I think Portia had mentioned that she didn't like cats, so I fully plan to leave them in my room. And then the final thing I wanted to ask you about is if you know of anyone that is like me, like techie like I am, that can kind of help me, like, not really a holding hand, but give me a little bit further teaching, in a sense, with what I can do.
Computer-wise?
Yes, like tech-wise, like people that can help me figure out my full capabilities.
Well, I can be a stepping stone, but as far as technology is concerned, I can probably hook you up with a professor. He is eccentric, to say the least. But if you can figure out his cryptic explanations, you can learn quite a bit from him.
That would be very helpful.
He is Baron von Voff.
What was the last part of his name again?
Voff. Voff.
Okay.
He is a professor of information technology. So he should be able to help you in this avenue that I can use a computer, but I can't say that I use it in my magic.
Yeah.
Is
Which
that your
I
goal?
basically, because I have a lot of ideas in my head that I want to test, and it would be good to have a second mind to say, to basically, in a sense, make suggestions or put me on the right path.
Hmm. I am sure something can be arranged. I will drop him a line and see if he is willing to expend the time
Okay.
in taking a private student. You would have to schedule with him because you wouldn't be able to practice. He probably wouldn't be able to find this place.
True.
So you would have to go to the university and meet him there.
Yeah. And I think I've seen his. I think when I was in my bachelor's study, I think I saw the name, but I don't think I ever took any of his classes. So.
Mm-hmm. I will drop him a line.
Okay, thank you. And you already have all my contact information.
I do. And I would advise investing in a PO box because mail does not find its way here.
Where's the closest post office from here?
God bless the internet.
True. It is our strength in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Writing some notes. Sorry. All right.
That's all I had, Professor. If you hear anything, just send me a text or something.
I will.
Thank you. And Auron will leave the room and close the door after himself.
All right. Is there anything else that Max or Portia are doing for the rest of the night?
Pardon?
Max would be checking the like the class notes and everything for the
Mm-hmm.
classes he missed that day to find out what he needs to do
To catch up.
and to catch up. And he would also be like having trouble focusing on the assignments
Mm-hmm.
with all the stuff that's going on. It's like he's trying to, but his brain just is cycling over like magic and pukas and other things.
How about you, Portia? Portia. You're muted. Okay. We will. Oh, she got logged out. I see. Mm-hmm. How about now?
All right. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! I'm back. I've returned. How long has it been in the game world since for game time?
It's only been 2 hours. So the children are still up. The let's see. The investigation has probably another hour or so before the show starts.
And we're going to the show to try
Are
to
you?
stop him, or are we just creating a plan?
Sarah said that she was going to be the point of contact for the investigators.
Cool.
So whether or not you want to keep her company is up to you.
Well, sure. Do I have any homework? I don't even know what day it is. I think I've laxed on everything. Oh no.
It is currently Monday night, so you have not missed a whole lot.
Cool. Well, then I'll go check in on Sarah and see how she's doing. Bring her
Okay.
some tea.
Oh, she is grateful for tea.
And some sandwiches.
Oh, and some sandwiches. Okay.
How you doing, sugar?
I'm starting to worry.
Uh-oh. What are you worried about, darling?
I did say that I was going to be the person of contact for the investigators, but what if they come like after the show? What if he comes after me?
Well, as long as you're here, I'm pretty sure you're protected.
But I'll be there.
You are going back. Do we have a way to get you back? I guess I should go ask the professor to see if we've got a way to get you back. Well, we'll do our best to make sure nothing happens to you, darling. I'm not really sure exactly how, but we'll plan something. And I go find Max, and I'll be right back, darling. You enjoy those sandwiches.
Thank you. And you zoom from the room and visit Max, which is just down the hall.
Max.
What is it?
Okay, so I was just down with Sarah, and she's worried that the guy's gonna come after her, and we need to have a plan to get her out. And I realized we don't really have a plan or a portal key, or I don't even know what we need to be doing. But what do we do? What do we do, Max?
Well, when is this happening?
You know what? That is a very good question. I do not know. Do you think that Mr. Lloyd knows? Should we figure this out? How do we figure this out? What do we do?
Or Mr. Pritchard?
Hello. Auron.
Hello?
Auron.
Yeah, yes, hold on. As Portia is saying the thing about a plan, I walk up and I say, I have an idea for that.
Go on.
And I'm going to make sure I show up. Since I'm the one that attacked him, I could keep him distracted.
Aren't you a little pooped from the last time?
It doesn't matter. I want this investigation and everything to go through well. On top of that, I want him to try to attack me. Because now he knows who I am, in a sense. And I have a feeling that if I show up, he's going to become vulgar.
Max, what do you think?
Sounds violent.
Seems risky.
It does seem risky. There is another thought.
Go on.
Well, he was making offers to me while you guys were downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like offers of training and stuff.
What? Gross.
Yeah. And I politely declined and left, but I was never in a place where I was against him.
So you're
So
saying go in and play the old switcheroo?
if I go in and pretend like I have interest in being trained by him,
Well, it makes you a less threatening mark and more easily probably able to get Sarah out.
or maybe people could get in the back while I'm distracting him.
That could work.
I mean, unless you are super intent on confronting him face to face, Auron.
Well, I'm not really in a sense confronting him. I'm just poking the bear, you might say.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the wisest move. He seems like an angry bear.
He also has a show. As you all remember,
Yeah.
he'll be occupied.
So are we just hoping the investigation goes well? Like, how can we facilitate this and make sure we keep Sarah safe? And I thought we had heard that the investigation wasn't going to do much. Like, we really couldn't help them out.
We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what they're going to decide. And frankly, we don't know if they're going to show up before he leaves town.
When's he supposed to leave town?
I don't know. Whatever his schedule said.
Fudge nuts. Well, if you can get a point of contact to him, Max, I mean, probably our best bet, I think. Auron, would you be okay with that? I mean, I just hesitate to send you back in there.
Whatever works, as long as we keep his attention off of Sarah.
We have two ways to go about this, which are mutually exclusive.
Okay.
If he sees you and Auron, even if he's doing the show, he's going to suspect something, and then it'll be on to Auron's plan. If he sees me and not you two, that's how to go about my plan. Because if he sees me with you two, it's gonna be Auron's plan. Because
yeah, I suppose it's all over from there.
Because he knows you two. Well, I mean, he knows all of us, but he knows you two as people who were, freeing his pets.
At this point, when you say that, you see Auron cringe a little bit.
I visibly cringe. Full body cringe. There's nothing subtle about the cringe. Ugh, what a gross dude.
Well, then what we could do is you go in, we go with your plan. Me and Portia try to get in through the back or downstairs somehow to stay in contact with the organization. And if everything falls apart, then we default back to my plan.
How are we going to communicate? Cell phones?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we could just text each other.
Should probably use an encrypted network.
That is true.
If he does electrical stuff, does that mean that guy can trace cell phones and stuff?
I don't think so. He doesn't seem to yes, he could use electricity like I can, but he doesn't seem to do it the same way.
Okay. Sounds good.
Does Portia give Auron her phone?
No, I thought we already had everybody's phone number for our study group.
No.
No,
With
I handed my phone over so he could do an encryption thing.
Oh, okay. Yes, I hand my phone over as well.
okay. Does Raena show up at any point?
She does not. She has gone to bed for the night.
We'll get
Okay.
Raina's tomorrow.
Well, if we're going it, but we might be going in tonight.
Well, then I guess we'll just go without her. She needs to sleep off everything. Poor thing.
True.
Everything's been crazy.
All right. I'll go and see if I can find some messaging software that has an encryption, and I'll set it up on your guys' phones. Do you guys have any special codes on your phone to where I can get into it?
I write down my code and hand it over.
Okay.
Mine's thumbprint. I go boop.
Okay, for yours, you might have to come into my room with me. And we'll just start with yours.
All right. Follow.
And we...
He muted.
And we what?
We separate.
Okay.
Me and Max are going to my room, and then I'm assuming Portia's going back to her room.
Yeah, I'll leave my phone with you for the night, and I'll just get it. Or, well, no, I need it. Fudge nuts.
Are you
All
going with
Just come with
Auron
us.
and Max?
All right, I'll just go with you. Sleep. Who needs sleep?
Well, if it's still pre-show, then
It's like midday.
Oh,
Close
okay.
enough.
No, it is not midday. It is closer to 9 o'clock.
So we
Well, we
already
better
missed
get
the
moving.
last show then.
Because is it a 10 p.m. show?
10 p.m. show.
Okay.
Well, we better get moving, y'all.
Yep.
I don't think we have time to do an encryption thing on these phones then. Unless
Just
you're really
download
fast.
Signal.
Well, the I'm going to look up some software real quick because there's some where the encryption's already there. And all we have to do is just add each other's phone numbers into it so that it connects to each of us.
Okay.
All right, so that would be intelligence computers? Question mark.
Okay.
Difficulty 7.
Intelligence computers. Okay.
What floor is this room on?
If
I
can't
believe
remember.
mine is on the first floor.
In that case, I'm gonna open the window and be like, I will be right back. I'm
Oh, you're
actually
talking about
not.
in my room?
Yeah,
That's in the bathroom.
and I am going to hop out and look for just a handful of pebbles.
Okay.
I had 2 successes.
All right, you find the encryption.
All right. I will start setting it up on the phones.
No problemo.
Okay. I hand Portia back her phone and then wait for Max to come back.
Do I find any pebbles just right outside?
Yes.
Okay.
They're mostly asphalt that have, decayed. That's, fallen apart, but they're pebbles.
Should work. Okay. I just slip some into my pocket and then pop back in.
Okay.
I give Max back his phone. It's like, all right, we got that right. Someone please remind me that after this, when we connect with Raena again, that we set this up on her phone too.
Noted.
Because we may need this for when we go to Niagara.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is slotted to be Tuesday during the day.
About what?
Probably
time?
going to be at dusk. So you have
Okay.
that. That is in your fortune. It's going to be at a Christmas tree lighting.
Okay.
Okay, about how far is Niagara from where we're at now?
Let's see what Google says.
Because I'm assuming it's going to be about a 5 or 6 hour drive.
Maybe less if the professor uses some correspondence magic.
Plan a
True.
road trip from Montreal to Niagara Falls. Driving time of 6 hours and 27 minutes.
Not too bad.
The fact
be
that I got
worse.
that so close is amazing.
All right, so you guys are basically gearing up and getting ready to steal the van, get an Uber. What you doing?
Oh, I just assumed we'd take the van. What do you guys think? Or should we get an Uber?
I would say we clue in the professor and borrow the van from her, since it is her van.
This was her mission.
Yeah.
You want to go ask her? She likes you.
What?
Well, she'd probably
you see
let you
Auron kind of
borrow it.
shiver a little bit and kind of give you a side eye, like,
No.
what?
Like, she'd let you borrow it. I just don't know how she feels about me. I'm not sure how I feel about her. I was like really upset about the whole gun thing. So, like, anyway, I just feel like one of you gentlemen should ask for van usage permission. That's all I'm saying.
My last few interactions with the professor have been tense and a little antagonistic.
All right, Auron, it's up to you.
Auron kind of on his face, and it's just like, all right, I'll be right back.
Well, one more thing to ask of the professor.
Well, she's asking this of us.
And I knock on her office door again.
It opens. She's still sitting behind her desk.
I step in. Professor, I got one more thing to ask about.
Okay.
Is there any way we could borrow the van, because we want to go to the last show as a bit of a secondary point of contact for the investigators?
Here are the keys.
He takes them.
Remember, you have to be somewhat in danger to find this place again.
Yeah.
So drive like a maniac.
My specialty.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you, Professor. And he walks out and closes the door behind him.
There you go.
And Auron will walk back up to the other two, holds up the keys, and kind of jingles them.
Hooray! Success!
Don't forget Sarah.
Oh, I totally forgot Sarah. Have we gotten to Sarah,
Had to
guys?
be there too.
Auron will.
I'll go grab
look up.
Sarah, guys.
Okay. I was getting ready to ask you because I didn't know where she was.
I go get her wherever I left her with the sandwiches and the tea. All right, sugar, we're ready to rumble, and we have a plan and a van.
Man.
It should go okay.
Okay. You guys are coming for moral support?
Yes, and to swoop you in case danger happens.
Oh, thank you.
Let us go. You got this. And she squeezes her shoulder supportively.
Okay. And with that little squeeze, she stands up and kind of like bolsters herself and follows you out of the room.
We go down and meet up with Auron and Max, and I guess we load into the van.
Yep. And we gotta go
Are we
pretty
gonna
quick.
do something about the boys?
The boys are currently running rampant in the halls.
They'll be fine.
What could they do? This place is magical. They can't destroy a magical place, right? Right.
All right, you all pile into the van. No sooner do you exit the hotel, you have already forgotten where you've been.
All right.
All right, we need to get to this place. Toot Sweet.
Who's driving?
I am.
Oh.
Is there a like a mount or anything on the dash where Auron could put his phone?
Yes. It's a clippy clip.
Okay. Auron will bring up the map, the Google Maps navigator, put in where select where they are now as a starting point, and then the address for the theater,
which is about 20 minutes away.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't make any sense for the three of you to even get out of the van until the show has started.
I should probably be there before he goes on stage.
Well, that's true as well.
And why is that?
Because I run his show.
She's the assistant.
You're actually going to reconnect with him?
If you want to call it that.
Well, if you're going to do that, then I am going to accompany you.
Okay, thank you.
Because the plan is for me to look like I'm on his side. So if I'm arriving with you and you are helping him with his show, then...
Then you're helping him with his show?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We can do this.
With this, I'll probably drop you guys off 2-3 blocks away, so you can walk in, so that they don't see me and Portia.
Sounds good. We'll circle the block a couple times, park a few blocks away, and then walk to the show and get in late.
Is it the same venue or a different one?
It's the same venue.
Okay, so you guys can try and get in the back way and free them during the show.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Well, if the investigators are there, it wouldn't be smart to try and release them while they're there.
No, but if they... That is assuming that they show up.
How should I put it? I feel that they might.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Yeah!
So, we make Sarah and I make our way in.
She makes a beeline to the behind the stage. Her gear is already set up, so she gives you a headset and a clipboard so that you look like you belong there.
Mm-hmm. Do we see
And
Reggie at all?
he is currently putting on his jacket.
I want to make sure he sees us.
Then you can easily go into the green room and spot him while he's getting ready.
I can't remember his last name.
Holston?
Hollis.
Hollis.
Hollis. Okay. Mr. Hollis,
Oh, welcome back.
I
You
have.
weren't involved with that. I mean, you're friends with the
I was.
that
I
let
am.
all my puka go.
I know them, and I arrived with them, but I didn't leave with them. And I actually brought Sarah with me,
Oh, good.
so she
She
can.
disappeared last night. Not last night. She disappeared earlier today.
Apparently, whatever happened was such a ruckus, it scared her.
Whatever happened? My cages were open.
Well, what cages?
I have my rabbits in
Oh, okay.
carriers.
Well, whatever opened them or whatever, it spooked her, and I ran into her, and I've been talking to her.
I am offering a reward to anybody who knows them or who knows where the rabbits are, and I was only able to recover a couple of them. So I don't have enough for my finale,
Mm,
which kind of sucks, but I'll work with what I got.
I'd help, but I'm no good at improvisation.
I appreciate the support.
You,
Here he walks over to a drawer, pulls out a badge with a lanyard and hands it over. You should be able to get into the pit, into the press pit, if you want to take pictures or you want to just get a better seat.
okay. Sounds like a good plan. And maybe once the show is over, we can chat, because you were saying something about training.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm new to this stuff, and when I brought up training to this other person that I was talking to, she was acting like it was a huge imposition and
Mm.
like gaslighting me into saying that, helping me would be, babying me and holding my hand.
Oh.
Just irritated the piss out of me.
Oh. I do trial by fire, so I have to warn you.
Ugh. Even learning more about what's available.
Most especially learning what's available.
We'll see. Well, that's aside from walking Sarah back home. That was the other reason I came.
Sure.
But I will.
We'll discuss that after the show.
Yep, I'll get out of your hair so you can get started. And I go back. I go out to the crowds
Yeah, there is a pit in front of the stage. Photographers are already setting up. There is like a chamber orchestra that is setting up and doing the cacophony. And people are taking their seats. Sarah comes over the headset and says, "How did that go?"
Very well. He seems very cool with me being here. I've got a press badge and everything.
Oh, good.
And I told him that whatever it was that the others that did had spooked you, and that you and I were talking all day.
Okay. Well, if he is being buddy-buddy with you, then maybe he won't punish me.
I think I convinced him that you got scared by what happened.
Well, I can't be the only one. I wonder about the ones that got away.
He did mention that he was able to catch a couple.
He managed to catch a couple.
Mhm.
I know there were many that just hopped into the ether.
I saw that. Is there anything you need from me before the show starts?
A hug,
Yeah, sure.
and she hugged Max. And she leaves him in the pit, and she goes back to the green room.
And Max is going to take a seat near the front and text the others and say, okay, the two of us are in place, and I'll let them know when the show actually starts. So when he's out on stage.
I'll text back and say that I'm gonna. If Portia decides to go in early, that's up to her. But I'm gonna sit out here and try to keep an eye out for the investigators.
Sarah opens the back door. And oddly enough, she pulls out a cigarette and sparks it up. Takes the headset, just kind of like rests it on her neck.
Auron
She looks like she's nervous, like the leg is jumping, but she is trying her best to be calm.
Now, is this an eye shot of Max or us?
Auron and Portia, if she is looking out the window.
Auron will just kind of smirk a little bit and just like, well, I guess we all got our vices.
You see 3 suits walking up to Sarah. There
Auron
are
watches attention.
2 men, and being led by a woman, a blonde woman.
Does she look like the woman that that we spoke to?
You have no idea what that woman looks like, as you only...
Oh, I thought we were on video with her.
Were you on video? I thought you were just on over audio.
I
We
thought we
had
were on
our
video
camera running.
because
Huh?
We had our camera running. I don't.
yeah, because Sarah stood out of sight of the camera.
Oh, right. The Quasitator did not have their video on.
Okay.
You can only assume. But they are dressed like very well dressed, operating members of society. They
Auron
talk
will
to,
Auron
yeah,
will sit there and watch attentively.
the blonde talks to Sarah. They look like they could be sisters, maybe. And Sarah leads them into the back. The show begins. Reggie is like doing his normal tricks. There is a giant fireball that he procures, which you can't figure out how he created a giant fireball. Like, it looks like he just summoned it out of thin air. And there's a couple of like assisting fire jets on the stage that are kind of acting as background.
Auron will send a text to Max and tell him that he believes that the investigators are here because 3 people walked up to Sarah outside and they went inside with her.
I will furtively, as quickly as possible, text back, "Good, I'm lying low."
Text back, good luck.
And I continue to watch the show and make sure that the phone isn't giving off much light.
The walkie-talkie that Sarah gave you, she has it on, and you can basically hear everything that's going on. So Sarah is showing them the cages and points out Brandon, who is banged up at the moment. She points out that his leg is broken, but I have yet to be able to take him to get medical care. And the investigator, it is definitely Jenna Fields. You recognize the voice.
Mm-hmm.
She reassures her that these are not just rabbits, but they are, people. And even if they had been rabbits, a rabbit with a broken leg would still be a bit of a crime. So are you pressing charges? And Sarah is like, I don't know. And Jenna is like, we can't go after him unless you're pressing charges. And she's like, I don't know. And she runs out of the building.
I will get up, having heard that, and head out the front. But as soon as I'm not within disturbing within earshot of the audience to disturb them, I'll be like, Sarah, what's your location?
Yeah, parking lot.
I will head out there and go to her.
She's easy to find. She is like standing hunched over, trying to catch her breath.
And if you could see the van at all, you'll see Auron standing outside the vehicle, leaning up against the front of the van.
I felt so alone.
I was right there with you over comms. I was just in the middle of an audience.
I understand.
Um,
Where are the others?
in the van. Let's talk. Can you bring the Inquisitor or the investigators out here?
She's I'm kind of scared of her, but I can ask. She goes back inside. Looking over her shoulder at you before she goes inside. And
I just
after
need to, and I say to her, I just want to make sure that if I'm speaking to them, it's not where Reggie can see us.
Okay.
Or, well, see us and know that something's going on.
So she comes back out with Jenna and her lackeys. Did you want to talk to me?
Yes, Miss Fields.
I would
This
love to take your statement.
what?
I would love to take your statement.
Well, I've been on comms with her and I've heard what you've been saying. Here's my question. If they count as people, isn't it illegal to have them in cages against their will?
It is the abuse that is illegal. And keeping them in cages is inhumane.
So inhumane treatment of people, isn't that enough to get them freed?
We will come with another team to confiscate. Not necessarily freed, but they will be put into foster homes, and the government will take care of them.
We do know a place if they want to stay together. A friend of ours is allowing several of them to live on her farm, and
Oh,
she's willing to allow the remainder of them to join. So there would be no cages involved. It would be actual housing, free roaming.
oh, so a reserve of sorts?
I mean, I don't know what to call it because this whole world is new to me. Like, I still see them as people. I would say refuge.
Refuge. Um, do you have access to medical assistance?
I'm pre-med.
That helps. So I suspect you know EMTs or general practitioner. who might be able to help the wounded,
Yeah, absolutely.
then come with me to my car, and I will give you some paperwork to fill out, and we will make this sanctioned.
All right.
And so she leads you over to a Mercedes, and she opens the glove box, kind of like filters through some papers, pulls them out, pulls a pen from the well in the middle, and says, right here and right here. Basically, you can call on this group if you need support, and we will be keeping up with the refuge to make sure that standards are kept up.
Excellent. And I will give you my friend's contact number. Who, you know, the owner of the property.
Ah, perfect. I need her name and her phone number.
Her name is Raena, and I fill out just
All
paperwork.
the information
Yeah.
required, address, etc. We will contact your friend at her earliest convenience, sooner rather than later if she is already harboring the victims.
2 of them are with her
Oh,
right now.
so you're already harboring victims.
Yes, couple of them were freed during the initial. It was they
A
tried to
mess.
what?
It was a mess, is what it was.
Yeah.
Because we can't help everyone.
But we can help as many as we can.
Indeed. Will you help us? Would you be willing to help us gather the victims? And
Sure. And I've got a couple others nearby that would probably be willing to pitch in as well.
a couple of others.
People that were involved in finding out about this.
Oh, I would like to get their statements as well.
I will text Auron and Portia and say, if you're willing, the investigators would like to speak.
I'll text back. Is that you down the street there?
Yes.
So they're all safe now then, or we've got a plan at least?
There is a plan. It's going to be official and not a breakout.
Well, hooray for that at least. So now what? Pick you up? Are you down the street?
Yep, just come on over.
All right, Auron, let's step on her. Yes, Auron,
Right.
step on it. Let's go.
All right, I get back in the vehicle and I put into gear, pull up to where they are, and park in front of the Mercedes.
Which is easy enough to do. They are in the employee parking lot as opposed to the, populous parking lot. The back doors are open. Some of the 2 lackeys have basically started picking up the cages that have children in them and bringing them outside.
I'll as soon as I get near the back of the van, I'll step in and help them put the cage in the back of the vehicle.
We do not have the wherewithal to take all of these, to handle every child tonight. But I will definitely be having words with Reginald Hollis.
Auron will turn towards the person speaking. Do you... And they could...
Hold on, you roboted out for a second.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Auron will turn towards the person that was speaking
Jenna.
and say, and he sees that they're in their quote-unquote human form.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can get them out of the cages? And this is a passenger van, so we can seatbelt them in and be safer.
We will take them to what's the easiest thing to do tonight? We can take them to our chantry and give them a place to stay for the night. So if you'd be willing to follow us,
okay,
we'll be grateful.
And I will...
If that is the case, go ahead.
I will turn to the children and say, these people are here to help you and to bring you to a place where you will be able to run and play free. But in order for that to happen, you have to not run away right now.
There is not a peep from the children. But the lackeys have started going around and basically knocking on the lock. The lock opens. They kind of like try and coax the children out. Brandon does not move. Instead, Jenna goes inside and actually picks up Brandon, who can't be more than 6, and asks, like, where your van? Can you open the door?
Yeah, I go and I open the side door.
And she's like, we're going to get you the medical attention you need tonight. We're going to make sure that you heal okay. And Brandon kind of whimpers.
And I'm going to use my mage sight and just look at the leg and see if there's anything besides just a simple break.
It is a 3-point break. It looks like he was slammed in a door.
I will turn to Jenna and say, is there anything... Do you have any reason for me not to try and use
If you would like
powers?
to provide triage and maybe put a splint on him.
Am I allowed to use powers?
Oh.
I'll close the door.
It will be vulgar without witnesses.
Oh, even without witnesses?
Mm-hmm. So Paradox may not just punish you, but punish us.
Maybe it's for the best if I don't. He is just 6.
Unfortunately, we'll take him back to the Chantry, and we have healers that
Okay.
can
Auron will
at least
start.
set his leg.
Auron will look through the back of the van and see if he can find anything that they can use, like even if it's just like a towel and like a couple of sticks that they can use until we get there.
There is a towel.
Okay. He'll bring it up to Max.
And I'll work on doing some simple splinting. Very gently.
You do not have a stiff rod or anything like that will
It's
help
just the one
fine.
leg.
It's just
Splinting one to the other is
okay.
is a common practice in first aid.
Okay. So
I just say, Brandon.
he howls when you put his legs together.
It's all right, Brandon.
His eyes are full of tears.
This is just to make sure that the leg has support. So your good leg is going to make it so your bad leg doesn't move.
Okay.
And we're going to get you to someone who has the ability to fix you.
I've been like this a long time.
How long?
I don't know. But I never saw a doctor. Kind of scared of doctors.
Do I see any permanent damage?
No, but the bruising is deep. They are purple to green, which means there are old bruises and bruises.
When Auron hears this, you'll see his eyes kind of change, and he will immediately walk away and walk across the street.
Okay.
Well, we should probably... Do we have all of them?
We can take 6. As that seems to be what you can fit in your van.
Can we make 2 trips? Maybe we could get an Uber.
Or call the police.
Oh, yeah, the police. Right. Those people.
Well, I am afraid the police would take them in a different direction.
I fear that as well.
But if Auron drives this van, and we also get... I have resources. I can call multiple cars.
Well, then let's call multiple cars.
How many children are there?
Good question.
Probably 12.
So if...
And there are empty cages.
I don't think we need the cages.
Right. So you take all the children out. They're all in human form, mostly naked,
Oh. Jeez.
and because they're puka.
Yeah, I guess they were bunnies.
So they look like lost boys, except they're girls too. They remind you of the children that are at the chantry.
Do we have any sort of blankets or anything to put them in? I have a jacket. I give that to one of the kids.
Okay.
At this point, like since Auron's across the street, you'll actually hear a ring of metal. And if you look over, you actually see that he's favoring his right hand.
The child who gets Portia's jacket kind of gives a smirk to the other children who are standing nearby, and and they start to fight over the jacket.
Oh no! Well, I take my shirt off. Auron, do you have your jacket on? Do you have a? We need more clothes. Anybody? Can we teleport things? Man, magic is useless.
Auron will look over and say, "Mine's in the center console."
I'll pass that out. I'll pass my jacket out. I'll also pass my shirt out. And it is,
It's chilly.
November?
It's early November. It's pretty chilly.
Don't care.
Are we anywhere near a superstore or something? Thrift store? Anything?
In the meantime, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm calling 2 Ubers and, like, what is it? Like an Uber Eats type thing that would deliver.
Mm-hmm. We can get the Uber Eats things that'll deliver from the convenience stores, I think. Or the, like, Walmart anyway.
Just a couple of blankets, or like however many blankets to cover the
Get a couple
children
packs of shirts. We'll just order like 6 packs of extra large shirts. I don't know. How many kids do we have?
12 kids.
6
Okay, Brandon and 5 others are put 5 of the naked ones into the van. So we just have 6. So we really only need. Actually, we should be fine with what we have, because if we have my jacket and shirt on 2.
On 2 that pretty much
Cover them,
away with the fighting.
And also
Good.
Portia's.
True.
And Auron's. So that just leaves 2.
Provided Auron is even there to fork over his jacket.
He said it was in the center console. So just basically passed out. That's 4 articles of clothing. So we just need 2.
The 2 children are kind of like, can you turn around or close your eyes or something?
You're gonna bunny, aren't you?
I would love to, as I have fur.
Yeah, go ahead.
And everybody kind of like closes their eyes and oh, okay. The last 2 children end up becoming bunnies. And the child who has Portia's coat says, "Okay, you can look now."
All right. Wait, can we swoop Auron? Let's go swoop Auron and undulate back to the place. Drives like
Miss
a
Fields,
maniac,
is it
Max.
okay for the two that are bunnies to be in the van, even though there aren't as
Yes,
many
the little
seats?
kids will hold on to them. It'll be fine. It's like a stuffed animal, but live. Just drive crazy, but careful.
Auron
This
will
is
end
going to
up
go terribly.
walking back across the street and get the driver's seat.
All right, we'll follow.
And Jenna gets in her car. Her lackeys get in the car with her, and the back doors are closed, and a bunch of empty cages are left behind.
And Sarah's with us too, right?
No, Sarah went back to the green room.
How did we forget Sarah? Is there any way to pick her up? What? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Fortunately, the show is still going on.
I'm gonna go back in. You guys follow them. Leave me here.
Okay.
Be careful.
I will. I'm not going to play.
Text us banana pickles if anything goes wrong.
Banana pickles.
All right.
That's the safe word.
That is the emergency word.
Okay. It is almost 3:00. I only say that because I need a bio break. Can we take 5 minutes to get drinks, do bio,
Sure.
stuff like that?
Yep, sounds good.
I will be right back.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting when Max sees Auron's hand.
Oh. Probably not going to see it for a while since splitting up.
Well, yeah, but when he does see it, because he went full power punch into a pole.
Oh.
Because when he heard Brandon whimper, it triggered him.
Yeah, probably.
That and him saying that he's had that injury for a while. That's the reason why he had to walk away, because it was just like, must not go ballistic.
Well, Max was getting close. If the investigators were going to treat
Let
this
him
like
go.
they were pets and animals.
Yeah.
It's like, no, these are people.
It's just they can just appear as animals.
I'm seeing this go in an interesting direction. The game in general. That
Yeah.
I actually kind of like.
Yeah, after some of the discussions me and Sako had, my character development is going to be very interesting for people to see. But I'll be right back.
I'm starting to not feel so hot. Like, my body's not doing great, and I need to bounce early if that's okay. I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. No, it's okay. I'm sorry I'm having to bounce early. Normally this stuff helps me feel better, so I'm sorry I'm not doing so hot. I hope it'll be okay. I'm not going to ruin the game too much.
Ruin the game too much? Okay, I don't think so. No.
Okay. I loved you guys, and I love playing with you, and it was
Feel
beautiful as
better.
always. I will. Unfortunately, chronic illness sucks. Yay.
We
I love you
can
guys.
set you up in the van.
Cool.
You will go into NPC land,
That works.
and
Do you want me to come back on to like do that, and then I can exit out, or how would you like to do that?
you can leave now, and
Okay.
I'll just take over the character.
All right. Thank you, love. I'm sorry.
No
Again,
problem.
I really
Your
appreciate-
health comes first. Your health comes first.
Thanks. And normally, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop making excuses. I appreciate you being so gracious. I love you guys. Have a good rest of the game.
Yeah.
Bye.
That sucks.
Yeah, I know how it is.
And now Sako gets to play Hyper.
Oh my gosh. So Jenna leads the van to a library, state building. You know, like it's a county library. They lead you into the library and kind of like head towards the back. And in the back room of this library, you open the door and it looks like a whole nother building.
He kind of looks around like, or Auron does.
It is
very interesting.
It is
change.
basically Harry Potter's wet dream. There are banners hanging from the ceiling. There are stone walls. There are candlelight everywhere, but also candlelit chandeliers, like every 6 feet or so. The walls are lined with books, and the children are being walked with you. Many of them got distracted by books that were on the shelves. So it's basically like herding cats, but the rabbits are actually the easiest to handle. And immediately there is an elderly Black woman who rushes in and says, "Oh, my dears, come with me, come with me." And she ushers the children to a coat closet. And in the coat closet, she pulls clothing that looks like it might fit the children. So one at a time, she outfits each of the children, says, we will have our healers look at you, and we will give you baths and proper night clothes, and you can sleep in the library if you would so desire. And the children are excited.
Don't blame them. There's a lot of books.
Yay, books. The Jenna looks to Max and says, thank you for reporting.
Max isn't there.
Oh, Max went AFK?
No, he's at the show. It's me and Portia
He's at the
the
show.
Shade Tree.
Jenna goes to Auron and says, "Thank you for reporting."
Auron nods, and he's like, I know how it feels to be taken. It's
That
the
is-
least I can do.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I have to face my stuff eventually.
If you need a therapist or anything, I'm sure I could recommend someone.
If you feel that it's necessary, thank you.
I don't know if necessary is the word, but beneficial.
Auron just nods.
You are welcome to stay here tonight if you don't feel like making it back home. I will be headed back to the theater to confront Reginald.
Do you think we should also go back to get the remaining children?
That was all of them.
Children.
Oh, that was all the children that we had with us?
There are still 2 children at the chantry, which has yet to be named. The chantry where you have been staying.
So that's 8, so 4 escaped into the ether?
No, there were 12 left after so many escaped.
So 2 at our chantry and 12 with you at this other one.
Oh, okay. I thought we were only able to take 6 to that chantry.
Another car was procured.
Okay.
Granted, the driver wanted to be tipped heavily because naked, dirty children.
Well,
Or-
these were the ones that were dirty, but they were draped in.
In
Auron
coats
will
and t-shirts.
Auron will ask the driver if they have any ways of accepting money outside
Oh no,
of
Max
the
is already taking care of it.
Well, Auron's still gonna ask. If the guy has any other way of accepting money other than through the Uber app.
He has I forget the name of the service.
You got
Venmo?
Cash App, Venmo, PayPal.
Those things do not work in Canada.
They don't? Okay.
Nope. PayPal Canada. PayPal alternatives.
Either way, Max has financial reserves to tap to tip heavily.
Yeah.
Oh, Venmo. Okay, so Venmo works.
Okay.
So you
Or
tip the Uber driver. How much do you tip the Uber driver?
Well, Max triples what the fee was.
Okay. You can call me anytime.
Well,
and
Max wasn't.
This is my phone number. You can call me anytime.
Auron will install the Venmo app, transfer some money into it, and he'll send another $50 to the guy.
You can call me too. I'm Ahmad. You can call me any time of night or day. I know you're into some weird shit, but I won't tell no one.
Is this conversation happening before we parted ways or after?
Before you parted ways. Like, this is as the children were getting into the car.
Max, like, no,
That's not what this is. We're actually
you're
trying to get...
helping with a rescue operation.
I'm still not asking questions. I won't tell nobody. He opens up his glove box and pulls out like a set of plastic keys that are for babies. And he kind of like tosses them in the back and says, "This is all I got." And the youngest of them is at least mildly occupied. At the library, the children have been fed, and they have appointments with medical assistants that will go throughout the night, and they have they're basically setting up beds all over the library. Most of them want to be on top of the bookshelves. They are given pillows and blankets, and the elderly black woman is like asking them if they want a bedtime story. They're ecstatic. Jenna just watches, smiling. All right. Jenna kind of like escorts Auron and Portia back to the van and congratulates them on a successful rescue, and she says that they will keep their she will keep their contact information, and to call them if anything like this happens again.
Be sure of it. I will contact you.
Jenna gets in her car and drives away.
Okay, and I'm assuming we got our jackets and everything back.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of gross now because dirty children, but
it can be washed.
It can be washed.
But he's gonna look around the van, see if he can, other than the towel that we use for the splint, try to find something that he can wrap his hand in.
There's dirty t-shirts now.
I think he should, because he's wearing his dress shirt right now, one of his dress shirts.
If you bring your attention to the African American lady who is currently reading to the children, she will escort you to the med bay.
Since if she's reading right now, I'm not gonna bother her. I was just wanting to wrap my hand so that it didn't look gross to people.
So your knuckles are scuffed up?
Yeah, they're scuffed up, a little bit bloodied from punching the pole.
If you ask anyone for help, they are more than willing to take you to the med bay.
I would actually just ask them if I could get, like, say a roll of gauze or something. And that's all I would really need.
Mm-hmm. and the healer basically like takes your hand and puts a salve on it. It stings like a bitch, but the salve like ends up feeling cool and tingly, and then they wrap you up in gauze and says change your bandages every day, but should be good by the end of the week.
Auron nods and thanks them.
And you are left to your own devices. The African American lady is reading Goodnight Moon to the children. They are nestled in their bookcase beds, and the two rabbits have decided to continue being rabbits, but they're being very well behaved rabbits. And they are given carrots. And you are left with the van.
I'll get in the van and get Portia ready. And first, Auron will actually go and drive to a if there's a pharmacy open.
Definitely. 24
And he'll go in and buy a couple rolls of gauze just to keep up with the healer said.
Okay.
And then he'll probably drive to go get food for him, Portia, and Max. And then
there's lots of late night food.
Okay. And then he will drive back to the theater and park where he did before to wait for Max and Sarah.
Okay. Reggie wraps up his show. His finale is somewhat lackluster as no rabbits hop out of his hat. He is confused. And Jenna is... Max can see Jenna.
Sarah?
Jenna.
Oh, Jenna came back?
Yes. Jenna went back to the theater. She is standing backstage waiting for Hollis to come off stage.
Where is Sarah?
She is in the green room.
I
You can
will
contact her via the headset, or you can go to the green room and talk to her in person.
I will go to the green room, and I'm just like, Sarah.
She's eating the cantaloupe.
Sarah, do you want to be here for this, or do you want to get out of here?
I want to get out of here.
Let's get out of here then.
Thank you.
Jenna, do you need us for anything? Because I think she needs to go.
If you talk to Jenna, who is backstage, waiting for...
Oh, she's not in the green room and backstage.
She's not in the green.
Okay.
She's not in the green room. She is backstage. She's like standing to the side of the stage, waiting for him to come off.
I'll just say to Sarah, did Jenna tell you to stay here, or does she want you? Did she give you any instructions at all?
Mm.
Then let's just get out of here and let her deal with him. And I will take her hand and...
She squeezes tight.
I will walk her out of the building. I will... is there any, like, robe or anything in the green room?
There is like a rack full of costumes and
I'll just grab a costume jacket because I am currently
kimono
naked
robe sort of situation.
I'm currently naked from the waist up, so
You select like one of the costume pieces.
Yeah, just a it's a sequin jacket.
Sequin jacket it is. And you exit the premises.
And it's like it goes past the waist. It's a little belted. It's actually fabulous.
It's super fabulous. It's a sequined like tuxedo jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, how do we get back?
Well, when we walk out the door, we see. How do I notice the van?
You should. It's an eye shot of the back door.
She recognizes the van and like basically runs over to it.
I'll try and keep up with her, but I think she's a little too.
She is a scared bunny.
Mm-hmm. So I'll make it as fast as my little legs can carry me, and hop in.
Wait for me, I got tiny legs.
So everybody is in the van. That includes Portia and Sarah in NPC land. And Portia is basically chattering at Sarah, basically saying, oh no, we're going to keep you safe. You can stay with us.
And I've got my hand out, and I'm assuming that Sarah is gripping it.
Yes.
Auron will, you'll see him reach down in the center console, and he'll reach back and hand you food.
Food?
He stopped at a.
Oh, right. He
Convenience
stopped at the dinner, late night food place. Yeah. Of course. And so Max has food in his lap. And did you buy food for Sarah?
Yeah, I think I bought food for everybody.
Okay.
I paid out of my pocket for it.
Sarah only lets go of Max's hand long enough to, like, basically hold the sandwich and munches it down quickly, uses a napkin to degrease her hand, and then takes Max's hand right after that.
And Max is going to take a very deep breath and say, and, remind Auron that he needs to punch it to get back to the chantry. He takes a deep breath, and this is not a good roll for him. I'm going to say he's going to do a bluff roll.
What is the bluff?
That he sees Reggie behind them for them to duck down and floor it.
Okay, so subterfuge and manipulation?
Yeah, as I said, not a good roll for Max. It's 2 dice. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 7.
Okay.
Right. And as he's doing this, Auron
Flat
will
She
look
looks at
at
you like.
But as this is going
She
on,
looks
Auron will
over
look
you.
up in the mirror, kind of smirk, and be like, "Yes, sir, Capitan," and then slams on the gas.
Everybody is blown back in their seats, and you blast through a green light. The ride is. The streets are almost empty.
Ooh, maybe a drive roll. Maybe a failed drive roll.
Failed.
Yeah, I
It's
think I might
needed.
need to make a drive roll.
Okay. So you're going to drive as recklessly as possible?
Well, it's not going to be fully reckless. It's just going to be to where, following what the professor said, feel like you're in danger.
Right. It occurs to you that the fastest way to do that is to drive into oncoming traffic.
Okay.
So drive and dexterity, difficulty 8.
I buckle myself in, and I buckle. I make sure everyone in the middle seat is buckled in
She is like
and gripping each other tightly.
Ow!
You
Botch.
hit a car head on. Everybody is knocked down to 2 levels.
Oh, on the health?
On the health chart.
Okay.
And
would that be hurt or injured?
hurt.
Okay.
And there is another van that you have just struck. The car is totaled. No one emerges from the car.
Auron he starts rocking in his seat. And you just, hold on. I gotta do something really quick because I want to do this correctly. He starts rocking back and forth, and he starts loudly, not yelling, but loudly saying "fuck" in German.
Flickensy.
I said saying Sheeb. I think it's how it's pronounced.
Scheiß.
Yeah, Scheiß.
That's shit, basically.
Huh, that's where... Huh, I put the word fucking and said SCHEI. I can't remember what the B character is than E.
That is a S set, which is 2
okay.
S's combined.
Okay, so it's Scheiß. Or Scheiß or Scheiße?
Scheiß.
But yeah, he's saying that over and over again loudly.
No one is emerging from the other car. Sarah seems, while she is hurt, she is still cognizant. She tries to remove herself from the seatbelt. She takes it off, no problem. And she tries to free Max as well.
Okay. Auron
she
tries to...
that as well. The airbag has deployed.
Auron tries to get his seatbelt undone. Is there a role for that?
Dexterity, security.
I don't see security on the sheet.
Okay, it's not a mage thing. Straight
be-
dexterity roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 7. No, difficulty 6.
One success.
1 success. Yeah, that's enough. You exit the car. The engine is steaming, and so is the other car. No one in the other car is moving.
Auron will go around to the other side, try to get Portia undone and out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Because he
I'm not
doesn't
going to
know how
make you roll
injured she
for
is.
it. You have the time.
Okay.
Yep. Sarah and Max and... Okay. Sarah and Max and Portia and Auron are wounded but safe. The van is wrecked. As far as you can tell, the people in the other car are unconscious, and we will wrap game there.
Okay.
We will do goods, bads, and uglies. For those who have not been following along, goods, bads, and uglies are one good thing about the game that they really liked, a bad thing that they really disliked, and then if they could give experience to another player, who would it be and why? We'll start with Max.
This was a very interesting game. I was not expecting to be able to pull off a diplomatic solution. But I'm going to say that I feel good that we have. And it seems the other good is that it looks like we're going in a certain direction with how we're doing things that may look like we might be setting up our own haven. Is that what it's called?
Like a sanctum.
Over at Raena's place.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like we might be taking it towards a Dr. Dolittle sort of way. Care of magical creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm down for it. I wish that... I guess my bad would be I wish I had a better roll on that bluff. Because that would have been
hilarious.
Well,
you're like, look over there, a thing. And she's like...
Even Sarah, who was terrified, was like, really? I know what you're trying to do, Boo, but...
but she had let go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna give my experience to Auron this week.
Woohoo!
As to why?
Just kind of basically the two of us, and he's... I mean,
other than, what's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, just the he gave the most content.
I think he showed us a lot more of his character.
Yes, that too.
So that's one experience to Auron. Auron.
All right. I'd have to say the good is we were successfully able to get the rest of the children out without having to deal with Reginald, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
The bad, I need to up my driving skill. And then figure out and then figure out some way of getting it to where I could trade dexterity for perception.
Yeah.
Which,
Your eyes could keep up, but your hands couldn't.
yeah.
All right. You're ugly?
The ugly? Huh.
Basically between Portia and Max.
I'm gonna have to give it to Max because he did some basic triage and trying to get the kids calmed down so that we could get them out of there without, well, other than what just happened of us having a car accident. But yeah, like, he was able to keep them calm and everything to where I wasn't driving distracted.
Right. So that's 1 to Max. I'm going to give you both 2 experience points. 1 for game, for session. 1 to Max for doing triage and handling Sarah. And also trying to be subterfuge to Reginald. And then 1 to Auron for revealing a little more of his character and a little more of the PTSD that we discussed.
And controlling his anger.
And controlling his anger. With that, we will be back for the 23rd, and we are back for Christmas game. Hooray, Christmas game. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.